What is up, everybody? We're back. Welcome to the boxing shop. We're gone last week, but we gave you guys a nice super show with Jack and Nibs from the Expert Hour, which will be getting renamed pretty soon. But what's good, Ray? How you doing, man?
Hey man, I'm doing all right. I'm here. How you doing?
Another day, man. Got myself. You asked what we were drinking tonight. Made myself a little pina colada, and then when that's done, I got myself a Mike's Hard. So don't be coming for me in the comments drinking these girly drinks. They do the job still, just the same as anything else.
I'll let them get at you. I'll let you slide.
Hey, I've drank plenty of tequila on this show before, so I should get a pass for tonight. Let's talk about this past weekend. It was busy for me. I didn't really watch any of the fights, but I did catch some of the highlights before we came on. So I saw some of what Alycia Baumgardner did, and from what I saw in the highlights, she looked impressive as hell. Like boxing skills, just on point, way above her opponent, and that had to be a satisfying victory since that was her only loss. Did you catch that fight?
That's the one fight I caught this weekend. I don't know, man. I wasn't overly impressed. I feel like she's kind of digressed, or kind of been heading down since the Mayer fight. Like, felt like because I thought she won that fight easy. I know some people say, um, that Mayer won. I know Mayer was like, "Oh, I won that fight." I didn't think Mayer won that fight, but since then, I thought AB's kind of been lacking. Like, she won this fight for sure, but I don't know. She kind of fights in spurts so much. Um, I don't know. Like she has like 30 good seconds around, which is a lot in the women's. Like with 2 minutes and the 30 seconds, you're gonna remember it. But I don't know. I'm just not overly impressed, I guess. And I thought she was like trending upwards on that Mayer fight. Picked her to win that fight, but since then, I just don't. I don't know. I'm impressed, but I don't like put her on the levels of like a Shields or Katie Taylor type level.
Yeah, I feel you. It's, it definitely seems like she might just be one of those that steps it up for big fights, because she showed out against Mayer, of course, and then her last two fights haven't been that impressive. But I mean, well, to me, this last fight looked impressive. Like her skills are on point. The way she digs to the body, mixes up her punches.
Yeah,
I just
I will say that was impressive. The way her body shots they look clean. Um, and I mean, she won the fight, right? She won the fight easy. I say 7-3, 6-4, maybe. Um, but I just feel like in the women's game, you got to really separate yourself to be on that, Katie Taylor level. And Katie Taylor lost to Chantel, whatever. But I'm just saying like that next level. But luckily, I mean, um, they mentioned Eddie Hearn got in the ring and mentioned her and Serrano, and that's a really big fight. That's kind of the ones that everyone kind of shows up for, especially in the women's game. I think that brings over even casuals. So hopefully we get those type of fights. Like I said, she won easy, but I just felt like she's not looking. I don't know. I don't. Maybe she's not. Maybe she's not improving to me. Maybe that's what it is.
it's interesting. It just seems like she hasn't. I don't know. It seems like she's not putting forth like the superb performances that we want, but I definitely see improvement from her for sure. I think she's definitely getting better in there. Or at least her skill just looks really good.
Yeah, everything's clean, right? Like the technique, the jab, the way she digs to the body. Maybe it's just like she fights in spurts so much to me that I see like she takes a lot of the rounds off. I don't know if it's like her tired or whatever. But then, like I said, when you fight if she's fighting in a 30-minute spurt, and then that's all you're gonna remember out of the 2-minute round. So maybe that's part of the strategy, right? I don't know.
Hey, who knows? What do you think is next for her? I see the comment here that she called out all the fighters that Clarissa's fought, but didn't call out Clarissa. I think there's a friendship there. Who knows if that fight ever happens? But I think that's probably why. But what do you see next for the GOAT?
Who we talking about?
Alycia.
we're just gonna throw a goat.
Yeah, we're throwing it out there already, man.
I don't know about. I don't know if I'm co-signing that, but I think they look like they were. I think Serrano right there. Michelle says she loves Amanda Serrano. Eddie Hearn mentioned that, and that's a big fight, right? Like two big punchers, especially in the women's division. I think that's something that we would all want to see. We all tune in for.
Yeah.
And then the Shields thing, they do seem to have gotten kind of close since the Mayer fight, right? Because Shields was always with Mayer. I think they were Olympic teammates. But now it seems like, she was at the fight. I guess they have the Michigan. They're both from Michigan. So, yeah, I don't think she's going to fight her or even call her out.
Yeah. I don't see that fight happening. I see that too much respect between the two. Unless the money, if there's ever an opportunity for like a real huge payday, that would definitely be the one right there for sure.
Yeah, but I also don't think, giving respect to Claressa, I don't think beating this last girl puts AB on that level where I'm like, oh, I need to see her against Shields. Like, she's shown me nothing that says that she could beat Shields or even be competitive against Shields. So, like, the Katie Taylor, the Amanda Serranos, and then even a Mayer rematch, like, if she were to win impressively against them, let's say like she came in and got knockouts or whatever, then maybe you start thinking, hey, Shield, maybe people start calling for that. But there's enough women fighters that AB could kind of, have a good string of fights and be entertaining.
Yeah. And she herself is just one of those fighters too, where, you've mentioned it before, you she's fighting, so you tune in to watch her just based off of her alone. And hopefully she starts putting forth more entertaining fights so, fans like you can really enjoy it again.
Yeah, for sure. I did think the craziest thing this weekend was her trainer, Tony Harrison, saying it was the most dominant performance that I want to say that any boxer has ever. He said this mid-fight. I was like, bro, I hope that doesn't become a thing where, like, because they sometimes talk to the trainers mid-fight. What are you thinking? And I hope it doesn't become a thing where they just try to sell how good their fighter's doing, because that she was winning the fight, but he was like comparing. I don't know. He was saying it was best ever, the most dominant ever. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I just hope that doesn't become a trend where the trainers try to start projecting what's going on instead of really just giving their real insight.
And that was that actually made the highlight video that I watched too, of him just going off ranting about how good she was doing, how good she was looking. So I was able to catch that too. He was really excited about the performance. I think whatever they were working on in the gym, she pulled it off exactly how they wanted, because he was very pleased with that performance. He was more happy when the victory.
Yeah, maybe he was really happy that something they're working on. To me, it was just him trying to sell what we were watching, and I didn't like that. I was like, come on, man! Like, we already have a problem with the announcers doing that. I don't need the trainer to come in and start saying, yo, they haven't lost a round. Like, just keep it real, man. Say what you're seeing and whatever. There's no way he believed that was the most dominant performance by a champion. It's like, bro, you just got beat by a champion. Like Tim Tszyu, that was much more dominant than whatever was happening in that room. Like, I don't know if Tim Tszyu gave you CTE that you forgot about how a dominant performance is supposed to look, but that's a dominant performance.
Yeah, that's true. It's like you said, the commentators do it enough already on ESPN and other platforms. I'm with you. I hope they don't start letting the trainers get control over the microphone. Although, not all the time do they do that. Are the fighters in that much control of the fight too? Sometimes they're closer fights, so the trainers got to keep it real. But yeah, Tony was definitely hyped up on that night for sure. His celebration, he was more excited about it than Alycia was after the win.
He was trying to sell, or even after the win. I don't know, man. I get it, bro. It's a business, and you got to sell yourself, right? That's how you get the big fights. That's how you get all that. I was like, that's a little much.
Yeah. Now the other, well, real quick before we keep moving on to the card. I mean, this weekend I spent some time with some fighters. Arizona, there's a lot of good talent. I'm just running through some names on here that you guys might not know. Trini Ochoa and Andre Rodriguez. I got to watch them spar. Man, definitely Andre's fighting on the 4th of August on the DAZN card. I'm not sure who's main event in that card. Trini just fought a couple weekends ago. He'll be fighting again in August 19th, I believe it is. Man, incredibly talented fighters. Andre has a gas tank that just does not end. That dude can go rounds, deep rounds. Spent some time with Elijah Garcia, Trevor McCumbee, Joseph Rivas. He was on this podcast a few weeks ago as well. So we got a lot of good content coming your way. Arizona boxing is on fire, man. There was a couple guys that I was going to connect with at the Ramos Boxing Academy. We had to reschedule, so that'll be coming soon too. But yeah, we're making these rounds, man. Arizona is on fire right now. There's a lot of top dudes out here.
You get future fight dates or anything with what they're looking at with any of those guys?
We're looking at September, October for both Elijah and Trevor. Nothing set in stone. Those are tentative, and I mean, there's a lot of cards coming up, so who knows if those are going to be any major undercards or not.
Yeah. Let Elijah get that Canelo undercard, right? Like
that would be nice, man. I was thinking he was going to get on that as well too. I was assuming he's going to land on some sort of PBC card. I would have, if it's me, I want him on that card because you got the whole Mexican. I mean, it's not the Mexican Independence Weekend because that day was taken.
Yeah,
but
it's a Canelo weekend, right?
Yeah, it's a Canelo weekend.
That's the biggest weekend in boxing.
Yeah, definitely.
And you come in at least. I mean, I'm kind of hoping for that too. If he comes off the Tank Garcia undercard with the spot on the Canelo undercard, like that's someone that they're pushing and expecting big things from. And I do think he's the type of fighter that deserves that push.
Oh yeah, definitely. And he was looking really impressive in the gym too. He's on point. I'm excited for everything that's coming, this way from all of these fighters out here. Definitely keep tabs on those names I mentioned too. Trini Ochoa, that dude he's got a wide ass back. Dude's got power. Like these guys are a problem, man, for sure.
You like this back?
Bro, get out of here. That's how you can tell when a fighter's got like true power. They got them really broad shoulders and wide back, and that dude, he could pop too, man. And the gym that they were training in, the thermometer inside it hit 120 in Phoenix on Saturday. The thermometer in the gym was over 100 degrees. It was just, I was sweating just holding the damn video camera. I can't imagine training in there, let alone sparring or anything else. That was nuts. These dudes are grinding too, man. They're going through it for sure.
These guys are all at the same gym, or you were at multiple places?
Different spots. Yeah, different ones. But that's Arizona, man. Hot. Today we got rain. It's so freaking crazy, this weather that we're going through. But I literally saw somebody put a cast iron skillet on the sidewalk and literally fried an egg in it. It's that damn hot out here.
Right on. Yeah, and hey, man, the boxing scene over there is really picking up. You got when is the Valdez? That's August, right? 11th?
Yeah,
or so?
August 12th. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's probably the biggest one that we got coming up. I don't even know who's on that undercard, but that's going to be an entertaining one. That's going to be a top rank one. I don't think we're going to see any of the local guys out there, but that should be fun, man. Either way, I'm looking forward to that fight. Who do you got in that one?
Oh man, I'm going Valdez.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to stop him.
Valdez is just too technical, too skilled. Usually like when a guy comes off a loss, you think, man, maybe they don't. And that's how I was kind of thinking after that Shakur loss. But then obviously that was just a Shakur thing because Oscar looked good at the next fight. And now going into this fight against Navarrete, I expect him to shine, really. Like I think that style is made for someone like Oscar Valdez. So
oh yeah, definitely. I think that's why he's been so excited for it too. because he knows it's going to be a good fight. They're going to bang it out. Navarrete he's very Mayorga like, and he's going to come to brawl. So it's going to be forever long it lasts. It's going to be fun. I could see Oscar scoring a crazy knockout like he did against Burchell too. That's going to be a fun fight, man. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Like Oscar, man. I'm a fan, going back. And I just saw a video of him just, I think today, bro, and just his self-awareness. He was talking about the Shakur Stevenson fight, and it was no excuses at all. He was just saying, like, he's like, he didn't run from me. He said that. He's like, he didn't run. He was right there in the pocket. He just moved like a little bit, and like Valdez was missing him by that much. And Valdez was giving props, like, yo, this guy. And to me, like when a fighter is self-aware like that, I just like that. Like they realize what's going on, what's happening. He didn't say, "Oh, this or this, whatever." You've heard every excuse in the book in boxing, and for him just to be like, "Yo, the dude was right in front of me, and I just couldn't hit him." I think mentally he's in a good spot. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight, which I think everybody probably is. That's a big fight.
Oh yeah, definitely, and it's I'm with you on that too. I mean, we have heard every damn excuse in the book. I mean, Deontay's my boy. I don't want to throw him under the bus, but I mean, his was probably the most outlandish one.
The heavy costume.
Yeah, that one was probably the craziest one. But there's been a bunch of crazy ones. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Whenever I hear the fighter on the losing end giving the props to the winning fighter, offering up no excuses for the loss, like you like to see that. It's like you said, it's good self-awareness. They know what happened in there for sure.
And we've talked about that too. That man, Shakur is like, he's just really, really good.
Yeah.
And kind of the same thing we were saying. And he doesn't run really. He tries to get you out of there. Really, he might not have the power or the pop to do it, but he's trying. And I'll send it to you if I come across it again. But Valdez was saying, like, he was just right there and just a little slips, and Shakur was in his range, and Oscar was kind of just talking about like how frustrating that was, not being able to hit him. So I guess going back to it, I think Oscar is still a good fighter. Like, yeah, he lost that fight very easy. Like, Shakur won that very easily, but I think that just speaks more to Shakur's level than Oscar on the downslide or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's probably why you see some apprehension from the Haney team to want to jump into that fight, because I mean, I feel like Haney understands that it's he's kind of low hanging fruit for those top guys there, and he's in a shark infested water with some great whites, man. There's a lot of top dudes there.
Yeah,
so pick their opponent wisely, very, very wisely.
Man, that's frustrating too, because I seen, I think Shakur said he was offered like 25% or 20%, right, when you're talking the first splits, and I see everybody saying, Devin did it. Yeah, he did, and we give him props for doing it. But like, let's not forget, bro, that title Kambosos was food.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think any top 10 guy would have beat Kambosos. So for Haney to take a risk and go, it wasn't much of a risk. Like, Haney was going to win that fight. Haney was going to win that fight no matter what.
Right.
It's a little different than Stevenson saying, "Oh, let me take 25%." It's like, nah, like, because that's a closer fight, right? And Shakur deserves more than that. So when people say, "Oh, Haney did it," that shows what Haney's about. Yes and no, because that was a guaranteed win, right? Like, I honestly don't know how Kambosos even beat Teofimo. I think it was fluke. Everything, that fight kept getting postponed. That fight was weird to begin with. But yeah, no, that's not the same Shakur taking 25% as Devin Haney taking. Devin Haney took 25%. The hardest part was that he had to go over there, but he was never going to lose the fight. He was never in danger of losing the fight. Like, that was easy. So I do think there is real apprehension to fighting Shakur, and for good reason. I think Shakur's a much better fighter than him.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I say this all the time. I'm not saying any of these fighters are afraid to fight anybody, because at the end of the day, they're fighters. But you got to understand, when you're, especially in Devin Haney's case, he is the king of the mountain, and one slip up can put him all the way back down on the bottom. So they got to pick their opponents wisely. I'm sure he would love to fight everybody, to be honest, but you got to maintain that crown, and they got to pick their opponents wisely. On top of that, I mean, just this past weekend, which will segue into that, we have a new mandatory for him, which is Frank Martin. And then I guess there was somebody else that he was ordered. He's actually has to make a decision if he's going to fight Shakur or Frank Martin now.
No, I think the decision is Shakur or Regis.
Oh yeah, you're right. Regis, you're right.
Yeah.
But again, Frank Martin is now he won the WBC number one contender championship fight, whatever. So I don't think it's going to be for a damn intercontinental title belt that he's fighting for. So he's going to be right there for Haney as well. And there's so many dudes up there.
I feel like it's all circling in on Devin, right?
Yeah, like the ones that are caving in.
You want to go any way he goes, it's going to be a tough fight, right?
And that's what I mean. They got to pick wisely. They got to pick somebody who's going to be interesting for the fans, at least a decent challenge and matchup, but somebody that he can still have the upper hand on.
Yeah. And like you said, I don't think anyone's ever scared, but there are fighters that are more risky than others, right? Like you can fight this guy and get paid this much, or you can fight this guy and get paid this much, but it's harder. So yeah, I don't think anyone's scared, but when you're looking at it as like it's a business, this is your career, like they are, trying to pick the route in which they want to go.
Yeah, 100%. That is exactly it. And it's especially that's why you see more risks with guys on the come up, because those dudes, they don't have anything to lose. Sure, maybe they'll lose their undefeated record, but for the most part, those guys can afford to take risks. When you're at that next level, you want to take risks against, either somebody who's got just as much to lose, or, something that's even playing field.
I think kind of like boxing personified, I think is Mendoza, Brian Mendoza.
Yeah.
Real good prospect, getting fed guys. Takes on, I don't know, Larry Gomez wasn't really journeyman, but he, someone he should beat. So he loses that. And then now those easy fights for him, or, so-called easy fights for him are gone. Now it's flipped. And now he's willing to fight anybody. Like, let me just get in the ring. Let me show that I really am good. And, now he's kind of the guy, the B side, I guess we would say, right? That's just how boxing works, right? Like, if a matchmaker and promoter's behind you, you're gonna have an easier journey than some of these guys that don't have that luxury, right? Some of these guys are like, yo, let me just get a fight and I could beat anybody. And some of these guys are like, I'm just gonna, just do what I'm supposed to do. And then they're kind of not handed a world title, but at least the opportunity is right there for them.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's I was thinking about that as you said it. Brian Mendoza is a perfect example of just that. He grinded, he took those L's, and he came back, and now he's on top. And
but at the beginning of his career, he was that top prospect.
Yeah,
like he was being fed the guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And then all of a sudden, when you have that loss, like, oh, okay, now you're the food. Like, and to his credit, he kept working and didn't settle for like, oh, I'm just the guy to get beat. He actually turned it into winning. Is it a world championship? I don't know. Interim.
No, he's definitely it is.
Because those are Carlos belts. But I mean, but I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And again, still, he like you said, he did it. He kept grinding. He learned from his mistakes, and he made it happen, man. I think everybody's a fan of Brian Mendoza's story for that reason, because you literally saw the dude go up and down and, back up to the top again.
Yeah. Yeah. Now to the point where I think he's being overrated by some, right? Like now,
Yeah.
some people, I'm like, whoa, like slow down. But hey, man, that's what you want to see. He's taking his opportunities and made the best of them. Yeah, another guy that's self-aware. I know he's been on the ITR platform before, saying, he how he changed, right? Or that he lives boxing now. Yeah, it's just a story that, like you said, you do root for. I think even other boxers would probably root for him because they see it's possible to, be on this side and then all of a sudden be on this side and still make your way to the top.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just can't get discouraged. I think a lot of guys take that first loss and get discouraged. It's not an easy road at all. So you definitely shout out to guys like Brian Mendoza, because there's a lot of them out there. Some that might not get a world title, but they still keep fighting and they're still in the mix up there with them top dogs. Frank Martin, though, going on in his fight, the highlights I saw, I've seen everybody talking about controversial or close, him winning it, by a very razor thin decision, or some people saying he didn't deserve that win at all. The highlights that I saw looked very one-sided, so I'm gonna have to clearly watch the fight to get my own opinion on it. But did you catch that one at all?
I didn't, honestly. I guess maybe I thought so much of Frank Martin that I was like, nah, he's gonna win. I could miss this one, right? I watched Holly Holm in her main event in the UFC because I thought Frank Martin, bro, he's up against some guy that I don't know. Frank Martin's gonna do his thing. I don't need to watch that. Then I started seeing the talk come in. Yo, it's Frank Martin losing. Frank Martin's losing. Right there, Michelle saying Frank won maybe three, maybe 4 rounds at the most. I think someone told me the Showtime team had him losing the fight by a round. I need to go back and watch it, but I did hear that Martin closed out good. So closed out with the knockdown and closed the fight. Probably as most expected he should. So I'll go back and watch it. For him being in a close fight, to me, that's kind of a step back. I know Dakota said, no, the guy he was in with was really good. Bronze medalist, maybe. I think bronze, maybe go. I don't know. But I think we just have that much, maybe. And I think it's the Spence co-signed where I'm like, oh, Frank Martin's the guy. If Spence saying Frank Martin's the guy, Frank Martin's the guy. But now it's the fight that I need to go back and watch. Obviously, if he's having trouble or had any trouble, then I'm not putting him over Shakur. Like, bro, if you're having trouble with anybody, you're not ready for Shakur. I'll say that.
Yeah. Oh, I agree completely. But you never know with boxing. It's a very unpredictable sport. See, I'm definitely going to have to see this, because if Derek James is in the corner asking him, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what's going on? So I'm going to watch that at some point this week for sure.
I do think now, like, seeing that, like I said, I don't want to see him with Shakur immediately. He had trouble. But, I wouldn't mind a Pitbull Cruz. Because I think Pitbull Cruz is kind of on that level too, right? Like, we've seen him against the top in Gervonta. He lost, but he won decision. Man, let me see him and Frank Martin get it on, right?
I still wouldn't mind seeing Keyshawn Davis and Frank Martin. That's a fight that Keyshawn really wants, and I think Frank Martin looked very indestructible or on a higher path, and maybe a higher elite skill level than Keyshawn when he fought Michelle Rivera. But I think after this past weekend, maybe it's a little bit more even again. So I wouldn't mind seeing that one too. Any of those three dudes mixing it up would be good, because I wouldn't mind seeing Keyshawn and Pitbull Cruz too. I think Keyshawn is good. I think he just needs a really, like, a coming out party to really showcase it, which he's fighting this weekend too. I guess we can preview that card as well. Kambosos, if anybody's going to be tuning in. And on the undercard, of course, we got Keyshawn Davis. Before we move on, did you catch anything else on the Showtime card?
Oh, I didn't, man. I didn't. Like I said, that was a card where I was like, I know what's going to happen. didn't turn out like I thought. Like, I mean, Frank Martin still got the win. But there's a lot of guys at 135 that it shouldn't be hard to see these guys in good fights. You know, that weight division, 35 and 40. Like, there's a whole grip of names. If these guys really want to, you know, make themselves known, separate themselves from the pack. So, you know, hopefully the fights get made.
Yeah, for sure. It's deep. It's like I said, it's deep shark infested waters in that area, man. Alvis Rodriguez stopping Victor Postal seemed to really surprise a lot of people.
Bro, Postal's still fighting? Like,
yeah, crazy. I know. That one is my. Hopefully, that's about end, because I think looking at his record, he's taken a handful of losses back to back already. So he's right there to just kind of call it a career. Also on the undercard, the man that nobody knows, Quentin Randall, he picked up a victory over Willie Jones. And I call him the man that nobody knows because Blair Cobb's on this network and he said nobody knew who he was. But shout out to Quentin Randall.
Oh, that's who it was?
Yeah, he was also on this platform with an interview with Dakota. So he's getting his name out there. So shout out to Quentin Randall, man.
Man, he's legit, or what? Who is he?
Yeah, it's a real person.
No, but I mean, like, he looked like.
I didn't see his fight. I'm assuming I'll be able to watch it on Showtime's on demand. You know, however they set that up. I would assume sometimes they only put the main televised fights, even though they put the entire card up there for free, like on YouTube. We'll see. Well, I'm sure there's gonna be a way to find that fight though. But yeah, you know, shout out Quentin Randall again. He picked up a victory. He's a 13-0 now, so you know he's chucking along with his career. And then moving forward to this weekend, unless you had any other comments on those.
No, I was just looking up because I did see that Elvis Rodriguez he stopped Postal and people were trying to make that like a big deal, but I don't know about that, man. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I personally don't really see it as a big deal myself either. But
yeah, nah.
You know, some people.
You got to do more than that, bro. For me, I understand that's maybe Terrence Crawford's biggest win, but
yeah,
like, bro, I was never really sold on Postal, so it is what it is. He had lost 2 straight coming into that fight. Yeah, so I think they were. I guess stablemates at one point at Wild Card, so you know that kind of, you know, they probably knew what was going to happen in that fight before it happened. I'm guessing.
Of course. Yeah, Postal. I mean, dude's had a lengthy career, but he's not competitive in these fights anymore, and he's getting stopped. I think it's about time to start looking in another direction now for him.
You could have said that about Gabe Rosado about 10 years ago, bro, and he still stretched his career out.
That's true, but Gabe was a big dude. The lighter weight fighters don't have as long of a lifespan as the heavier fighters, it seems, too. But you never know. Some of them do. Look at Nonito Donaire, and he's fighting in a couple weeks as well. So it's different. It changes how.
That's crazy. Where did that come from?
What, Nonito?
Yeah.
Just because we're talking about fighters that have been around for a while.
No. I'm saying Nonito getting a title shot on the Spence undercard.
Bro, I don't know how that came about. Like,
are they just using this dude's name, or does he have a legit shot? Is it like a legit title fight?
Yeah, I'll look it up right now. Because that one, it was random to see that he just, because if I'm not mistaken, his last fight was the Inoue fight, right?
Yeah, when he got his head ripped off. Like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, unless that was part of the deal, like, bro, yeah, I'll fight the guy and get my head knocked off, but you give me, you know, an opportunity later. I mean, Onito's a cool guy, right? Like, his beginning of his career, I thought he won just purely on size. And I was like, come on, man, you're that much bigger than everybody. But then, as he gets older, and I think, man, now you kind of start rooting for the old guy, at least me.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, this guy's from this generation and he's still doing it. And but for him to be in a, it's obviously one of the biggest pay-per-views, if not the biggest of the year, and then in a title fight, I was like, I was confused on where it came from.
Yeah, no. So apparently it's a vacant championship. So it's the vacant WBC bantamweight title. Yeah, it's legit. Alejandro Santiago. I'm gonna look him up. I'm not familiar with him, so bear with me while I do some quick research. But yeah, it's definitely legit, and I'm with you on that completely too. Like, I start rooting for the underdog. It makes me want to see him win, especially because Nonito's a nice guy too.
Oh yeah, he really is.
Yeah, he's not one who ever really. He doesn't. I forgot what fight it was. He was interpreting for his opponent at the press conference, because the opponent didn't speak English, but Nonito knew both languages, and he interpreted for him. Like I don't know how much of a nicer gesture you can have. You're interpreting for your opponent who's talking about how he's going to beat you. He's a really nice dude.
How can you even continue to talk about the guy when he's interpreting for you? Like, that's wild.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, he is. I mean, he's another guy we talked about, self-aware. Like, I've heard him say, like, dang, anyway, but just put it on him. And he's a good guy for boxing, right?
Yeah,
he's a fan of the sport. You see him at fights. I was just like, man, how did this come about? Like, and is he in there against someone that's gonna run him over, or is it a legit fight? I don't know. I'm that curious about all that.
So looking at Santiago's record, he's 27-3-5, 14 knockouts. His biggest name on his record was against Gary Antonio Russell. He lost a majority decision, 10-rounder. Nothing that really stands out here. So, I mean, it seems like a fight that Nonito should win on paper, to be honest. The guy is younger, though. He's only 27 years old. So there's the youth factor there. But, I mean, Nonito's got the experience. So it's really going to boil down to youth versus experience in this one.
Hey, man, I'm all for it. Actually, looking at it, Nonito is a -165 favorite. So it should be an even fight, on a pay-per-view like that, with someone like Nonito in an even fight, it's probably going to be entertaining. So I guess I'm not mad at it, but just giving him a world title shot after his last performance is kind of wild. But it's boxing, so definitely seeing crazier stuff.
Right. The sport is definitely crazy like that. We've seen some wild things. Dudes getting title shots that don't deserve it. I feel like Nonito, not that he needed a title shot, but I think if anybody was going to get a gift of a title shot, he probably definitely is one to deserve it. I would.
Right. It's like one like you can't be mad at, right? Like,
I would like for him to get this fight, get this win, and retire as a champion. Like, that would be a perfect ending for a career. I'm really hoping for that, because, again, you can't get a nicer guy in the ring right there than Nonito Donaire.
Yeah, but come on, man. Boxing never ends with how it should end. Right?
Yeah, I don't think anybody's had a storybook ending at all, other than Floyd Mayweather, but that's still ongoing. The chapters aren't closed on that book yet.
It's ongoing, and it ended kind of ugly, like with Berto. It's like, what? Why is Berto getting that? Why is Berto getting this title shot?
Well, Conor is his last fight, technically.
Yeah,
But I mean, he still has all the exhibitions that are still going. So that's why I say it's still an ongoing chapter. I mean, it's not official anymore with these exhibitions, but that story is.
I'm trying to see. You said bantamweight, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what we have.
Looking at while you do that, I'm just going to run down this top rank card. We've got Troy Isley, friend of the program. Stefan Shaw is going to be on the undercard as well. Giovanni Santillan, and of course Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn fighting another very experienced pro. He's fighting Francisco Patera, who's 28-3, but only 10 knockouts, so he's not going to serve any kind of danger to Keyshawn. I think Keyshawn's going to steamroll this dude. And then of course George Kambosos fighting Maxie Hughes for a IBO lightweight championship. So they got, I haven't seen the IBO since the light heavyweight days when Roy had that title. I didn't even know that they had a IBO lightweight champion. I seriously have only ever seen the IBO in heavyweight and light heavyweight. But yeah, that's that card. Nothing. Don't cancel your Saturday plans. I don't think it's going to be a type of show where you have to cancel your plans, cancel your date nights or your night with the boys. But I mean, it's boxing, so we'll be watching it, of course, no matter what. Well, we have some more pina coladas and some Mike's Hard, but I'm excited to see Keyshawn, see what he does. And Top Rank does show usually all the fights anyway, so seeing how Stefan Shaw performs after his loss, seeing Troy Isley, I'm interested in that. And Jeremiah Minton is going to be on there too, against Willie Harvey. So there's some names on there, but typical Top Rank card again. They like to throw all their boys on there, so it's what you get with Top Rank, which is why I was saying the Oscar Valdez show is probably going to be very similar to that. I'm sure we're going to see.
I feel like this is a keep busy Top Rank show though.
Yeah,
right? You owe guys fights. All right, let's get them their fights. This isn't one, at least for me, that I need to see it. Like,
right?
Nah. I mean, I think Keyshawn's probably the guy on that has a future. No one else, bro. I don't know. Big Shot Shaw's on there, I hear, but after his last performance, bro, you need to do a whole lot more to get back to where you were and where you were on our show talking about. It's like, man, he just lost so bad or in such an ugly way that I feel like he has to regain a lot of ground. Like, I'm not like, I need to see that fight.
Yeah, I'm with you. And to me, it's not even that you lost because it's like what we talked about to open up the show, the self-awareness.
100%.
And there was none of that there. Look at Vibes Van Sicklen. He came off his loss. He was here fresh 2 days off of that, and he knew what it was. But even then, that was a flip a coin type of a decision too. It wasn't even like a hard L. Whereas when Shaw fought Efe, it was clear what happened in that fight, and he just did not really perform the way he should have.
Yeah, he didn't really show up, and like you said, the self-awareness when you're on here telling us that. I mean, basically like insinuating that you would beat any heavyweight in the world, like. Oh, you had Deontay Wilder hurt, or there's some insinuating there, but then you go up against Efe and you kind of don't even punch. Like, that fight was ugly. So, like I said, man, you got to rebuild that, and it's a rebuilding fight, man. Hopefully, he goes in there and lays the dude out and can get back to where he was. But I really think that Efe fight that left probably a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth.
And that was for a lot of people. That was the first time seeing him too.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully he does put on a good performance.
You tell next Monday. You tell me how that fight went, okay? All right. I ain't watching that, bro.
I guess I'm strong armed into watching that. Hey, if I don't, we'll get Jack or somebody on here. They'll be seeing it.
It's like one of those guys, bro. It's kind of like the Frank Martin card. Like Keyshawn, I think, Keyshawn's that good. I don't need to watch that, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like this is a card where like we have guys under contracts. We owe them fights. All right, you guys fight. Let's be real. We're all looking ahead. We're all looking towards Tuesday, the 25th, and then Saturday, the 29th, all right?
Yes.
This coming up Saturday, bro. If I watch it, it's because I accidentally came across it and nothing else, and I wasn't doing anything else.
Absolutely. I think I don't think I have much to do this coming weekend, so I'll probably be sitting there watching it. But we are without a doubt looking forward to, next weekend already? Gotta look at my calendar.
Man, it's next Tuesday, a week and a day from now, NUA Fulton, which huge fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't wait for that. I'll be whatever time frame they're showing that, I will be watching that, and then next Thursday I'll be heading out to Vegas again, and that is another. Man, that's going to be another crazy one. I'm looking forward to that. That one. I'm sad that the undercard is not as for the biggest card of the year and the biggest fight that could have been made in boxing. Finally, it's not that great of an undercard. Although with Nonito Donaire on there now, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, but I would have rather seen Jesus Ramos.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Jesus is the future, man. Like we talk about 154, I think he's the top 5, top 3 154 right now, right? Like he's beat Brian Mendoza. We just talked about him earlier. And for him to, injury, he had to pull out of the fight. I feel like that was a big loss. Yeah, we get Nonito and, little nostalgia. Actually, I looked it up and I think NUA is maybe vacating and going up to Fulton.
Oh, okay.
That would explain the free belt. And then, so if Donaire was number 2 and his last loss was to the champ, then, it kind of makes sense, I guess,
Yeah. Yeah, it does. And, we'll talk about this next week because it's going to be the night of the fight, the preview, and that's going to be a big show. NUA fans really tune in and go hard for him. So I'm expecting a big turnout next Monday night.
I think that's my pound for pound number 1 guy, man.
And you already know how big I am on Steven there, Fulton, and like those two dudes. I'm not arguing your fucking viewpoint of where you have NUA because he is that dude, man. But
no, and my only reason why I have NUA up there is because, like, bro, nobody at 118 was gonna beat him. Nobody at 115 was gonna beat him. Like, if we talk about pound for pound, it's like he had to go up weight classes for us to even think it was competitive.
Right.
He's at a weight class where, man, I think it is competitive. Like, if he goes in there and knocks Fulton out, bro. Like, can he do that, though? I don't know. I probably would say, nah, you might be biting off a bit more than you could chew. But if he does, right, like, that's crazy. And we know Fulton's skill level and that, and him going over to Japan to do it. We talk about, we give Devin Haney all the props in the world. Devin Haney, yeah, he did. He deserves the props. He went over there. But he went over there to beat a guy that 99 100 guys would pick Devin Haney. Like, Fulton's going over there, and I don't know if Fulton's the favorite. Like, it's a fight I want to see. That's what you want to see.
And without a doubt, Fulton is going over there to fight one of the most dangerous guys in the sport. And he's not the A side either in this. And especially in that territory, that crowd is going to be all NUA all day. This is a much bigger risk for him than Haney and Kambosos as well.
100%. And we'll break it down next week, but I think it really gives a chance to, like, if NUA does it, like, all-time great almost. To me, like, if he's able to go up there and stop Fulton, that's crazy. Yeah. And then if Fulton, does his thing and wins, like, dang, and look at him, So definitely a fight that you want to see. Could go both ways. A lot of questions, and they're going to be answered in that ring. I believe it's a Tuesday morning. That's all I saw. Tuesday morning American time. Don't know the exact time, but yeah, we'll preview that Monday and we'll know more at that point.
I'm sure we'll be making some sort of bet on that fight too. I'm still rocking with Stephen Fulton. That's my guy, man. Skills pay bills, and I think he's gonna pull it out.
Maybe, man. I'll take the bet just because that's what I do. But Bro, I don't know if anyway can go up there and beat this. Like, you know, Fulton went 12 with my boy Fig, so he's got to be tough. So,
yeah. But
gotta give
anyway,
Fig
he's a different kind of animal though. Anyway, his intensity and the accuracy of how he throws his shots, like he is that dude, man. And I'm excited. Like, this fight should be talked about more than what it is. If these guys were heavier, forget about Spencer Crawford. This is the fight right here.
No, but I mean, as a boxing fan, for boxing real, like, bro, that might be the best week in boxing for a long time, right? Like, anyway, Fulton to lead off the week during fight week of Spence Crawford, like, man.
Yeah, and let's not forget on Friday night we also have, like, there's 3 cards that week. We have Fulton Inoue Tuesday, Sinise Estrada is headlining her card on Friday in Vegas, and Spencer Crawford Saturday. And we haven't had a Friday night preview card the way we used to back in the day. Like, Vegas fight weekends are picking back up again. Back in the day, there would be a card on Friday night at some smaller hotel, the Cosmo, the Ballroom at MGM, Hard Rock, somewhere there'd be a card. And then
I've been to MGM where the Friday show was in the ballroom, and then, you know, the Saturday card was at the Grand Arena. So
yeah.
Boxing fans weekend, man. I think you're gonna try to make it to the Friday night card.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll be up in there too for sure. It's gonna be a good weekend for content purposes, of course. That's gonna be a busy weekend, man. It's gonna be fun. Looking forward to that. And of course, my not that they're sponsoring us or ever sponsoring us, but I'll be stopping at the New York to get my favorite pizza in the world. Place is amazing, bro. I should go to speaking of Fulton, get some Fulton fish fry.
Oh, that's my spot.
Yeah, that spot is amazing.
That's the New York spot?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was good. What else do we have? I think that's a breakdown of all the fights we have coming up, and
it's just counting down, man. Like, we're so close to Spence Crawford. I mean, we talked about anyway, folks. That's a huge fight, but Spence Crawford, I feel, has been kind of dangling in front of us for years now, and it's getting closer.
Yeah, it's right there. I'm just hoping everybody stays.
Is boxing? Does boxing die if one of these guys pulls out?
Bro, I was about to say, man, I hope these guys stay healthy enough to make it. If that happens, oh my God, like, the uproar is going to be through the roof, bro. Nobody is going to be happy.
I'm mad that I even threw that out there.
I'm sure you're not the only one, though. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who still don't believe it's happening until they get in the ring with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Should happen, man. I think, is episode 2 out of the All Access?
Yeah, episode 2 is out. I haven't even watched all of episode 1 yet, but I know it's a good show. All Access usually goes hard. They picked up
right, man. I feel like they're pretty repetitive at this point.
Yeah, they are kind of. It just takes the fighters to make it interesting.
Yeah.
The personalities is what makes it. The show format never changes.
Yeah. I mean, that was, Floyd's show for a reason. I think it started with the 24/7. But yeah, like you said, like, it's up to the fighter.
Yeah.
Some don't care about that, right? Like, so, we've seen enough of these that, that actually it looks like, hey, we're shooting this, and they just go through the motions. But man, I like Spence's camp. Michelle says Spence's camp's amazing. Man, I think Errol's a funny dude. I think he's good TV. So
yeah. He is. I'm gonna try to binge those episodes. Probably. Usually, what I'll do is try to find something to watch.
Bro, what are you talking about? I'm gonna try to binge these. You're acting like it's multiple seasons, whatever it is.
Bro,
2 episodes, bro. You could get an hour. I think they're 30 minutes, bro. You can find an hour.
I will. What I was gonna say is I will watch it on the airplane ride when I go to Vegas next week. That'll get me pumped for the weekend.
You threw binge out there.
Well, I mean, by then it's gonna be 3 episodes.
Oh, are they doing? They're doing more than 2 episodes?
I think they're weekly.
Okay.
I think, I don't know though. I could be completely wrong.
They said talking about Derek James, bro. Like, yo, that's one of the best stables in a long while, right?
Right. I want to see how he does with Ryan.
Yeah, and I know they're like, oh, this is the trainer of the year. I saw a video. Ryan had his right hand up. I'm like, yeah, bro, it's real easy to keep your right hand up when a camera's on you, right?
Right.
I got to see him in the ring.
The only problem with Derek James, I don't see it being a issue, but a lot of guys will look at Goosen, for example. Like some guys they'll have success with a fighter, and then they have just a flock of fighters coming to them based off of that guy's success, and it builds up like a hype train around them.
Oh yeah, bro. Look at what was his name? Virgil Hunter.
Yeah, Virgil Hunter.
How much credit did he get because Andre Ward was really good?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, bro, it's Andre Ward. I could train Andre Ward and we would have won some world championships. I promise you, Andre Ward is that good.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, let me train Shakur Stevenson. Bro, we're gonna win some world championships, and I have nothing to do with it.
Right.
Virgil Hunter probably had nothing to do with that. So yeah, I mean, Derek James, to me, the test, I want to see Anthony Joshua in, I think he's fighting Dillian White. Like, let me see what Joshua's like, right? Like,
yeah,
is he still the same guy? Is he still scared to get punched? Is he, so that would be the test. As for, Jermell Charlo and Errol Spence, those are other guys that I think, bro, they're going to make any trainer look good.
Yeah, I agree. I always think about Roy Jones with his trainer, Alton Murkison. Like, Alton Murkison, I don't think has ever had another even top 10 fighter. I don't even think people know who he is. And that just goes to show Roy was just so good. It didn't matter who trained him at all. And James Toney was the same way. Like, he changed trainers so many times. And I remember Freddie Roach was training him at one point. Mm-hmm. Freddie's like, James is easy. All you have to do is make sure his cardio is up to par and he's in shape. And other than that, he knows what the hell to do in there.
Yeah, I think James was the guy that I saw that he never ran. He was like, oh, he just spars to get in shape.
Yeah,
like I don't know. That's why it's hard to base trainers off of fighters, right? Like people say, Floyd Mayweather Sr. or even Roger Mayweather never won Trainer of the Year. Well, because Floyd is Floyd,
right?
But I don't know. But I guess maybe that's different because they had him as a kid. But at the same time, it's not like, Floyd is still doing Floyd things with random TMT guy in the corner at the end. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, other than that, I think unless you have anything else, it's a short show. Nothing too in depth tonight.
Hey, man, it's the calm before the storm, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't too looking for this past weekend. I feel like kind of lackluster. This coming up weekend, same thing, but then we're gonna be right in the eye of it, and it goes. We'll get Inoue, Bolton, then we get Spence Crawford, and then this isn't the almighty boxing fans fight, but then we're gonna get Jake Paul, Nate Diaz.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna be good. And then Navarrete, Valdez. We're about to be into some great fights.
Yeah, that post Spence Crawford episode of the Boxing Shop is gonna be probably a 2-hour show because we're gonna have Inoue Fulton to talk about, Spence and Crawford to talk about, and then Jake Paul and Nate Diaz to break down. So that's going to be a long episode. And I'm pretty sure somebody's going to be on the show for an interview. That's going to be a hot spot that somebody's going to want to be on. So there will be some fighter taking advantage and jumping on. And
bro, it's pretty much the way I look at it. Like, we got those fights coming up. within a week from now, or no, because we got whatever after that Spence Crawford fight and anyway Fulton, we're gonna have a I feel like a new pound for pound #1 guy.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, but then that's tough because you got Canelo who's about to be on there too, and Charlo who's gonna shoot if he beats Canelo. Like, bro, how are you gonna tell him he's not #1 pound for pound?
Right.
So everybody's so obsessed with these pound for pound rankings. These next couple months, a lot of stuff's gonna be ironed out.
October 1st, the landscape of boxing is going to look completely different than what it does today.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
And the narratives that we all talk about, right?
Oh yeah.
Crawford this, Crawford that. Crawford was at 140. Like, bro, let's not. We'll save it for next week. But like, come on, man. He picked up Danny Swift's vacant belts. Being real,
right? That and October, November, December. It's going to be interesting to see how the year closes out. Generally, last year was different. They closed out strong, but it's going to be interesting to see how they close it out this year because everybody's going to be done by then, fighting for the most part. I think we'll see
Benavidez.
Yeah, we might. I was going to say we might see the guys who fought earlier in the year, the Benavidez, Gervonta Davis, might close out with a November, December showing.
Shout out Gervonta.
He got game.
Free man. He's saying he's out there looking like Denzel, and he got game.
He did.
He was.
He definitely was.
I did see people say, "Oh, yeah, Gervonta, he didn't let anyone braid his hair," because I mean, all guys in there, right? People were like, "Yo, Gervonta." That's what the reason that he had his hair out. But yeah, he did look like Denzel a little bit.
Yeah.
Whoever he fights, that's a monster fight.
Yeah, he could fight. He could just fight a heavy bag and just work out. People are going to want to tune in.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think we'll probably be meeting up in Vegas again for one of these fights towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to make it happen.
Yeah, the last one was a blast. This next one is going to be even crazier.
Yeah.
There's going to be plenty of these. Actually, no, this is for home. Vegas, you got to go with the hard stuff for sure. My boys wouldn't let me do it any other way. But that's it, man. That's a good night. A good quick show. If you guys have time, tune into our super show from last week. That was a lot of fun. And we'll be doing at least one of those once a month. We might actually do that following this Spence anyway. Yeah, that's gonna be.
Or we could after the Inoue fight and preview the Spence Crawford.
It's not a bad idea either.
I don't know. We'll see. But hey, thanks for watching, Michelle. Appreciate you rocking with us throughout. Yeah, man, and hey, tell a friend about the boxing shop. We're always here. We hold y'all down. Yeah, and hold us down.
Yep, that's it. See y'all next week.
Yes, sir.